Shalom. I want to start by saying all praise, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh, Bar Shem Yahweh Shai, Bar Hakwadash, double honor to the Apostle, Bishop Ellsbury Millstone. Salutations to Akim pushing this word, and also sitting honor to the whole full elect throughout the four corners of the world. And Shalom to the Akim, Akwaf, the true believers, keeping the faith. Shalom. My name is Cora Allah from GMS New York, and this is going to be a quick lesson. You saw the title. Now, this is from the article, which I first saw this article from GMS South Carolina. But this article is Irish News. The Irish News government looks to stop hate preachers from entering UK. Okay, so you could look up for yourself. If you didn't know about it, you could look up for yourself. I'm pretty sure brothers made lessons about it. It's known. But if you didn't know about it, Lord will, now you know. But I'll read a little bit of the article. It says, government looks to stop hate preachers from entering UK. Ministers are looking to make greater use of powers to block people seen as non-conducive to the public good. Excuse me. It says, according to reports, the new plans will see identified extremists added to visa warning lists and refused entry to the UK. It is understood ministers believe they can make greater use of powers to block people from entering the UK if they are seen as non-conducive to the public good, typically used to prevent people who pose known security concerns from coming to the UK. So this is like if you're, doing anything that's violent or aggressive, they'll ban you from coming to the UK. So now it says, it is understood the new plans will extend the powers to include those preaching racism, incitement of using intimidation or violence to undermine the democratic process. All right, and that should jump out to you because through the spirit, this word has traveled. This word has traveled, worldwide. Okay, so when you read these things, it should jump out to you that is, basically another means of basically coming at the men of the Lord. They've been out there in the highways and byways, especially really the Israelites. I'm talking about the Israelite men. Okay, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans that woke up to the truth. Now, before I'm pretty much done the article, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give a few scriptures. All right, give me 1 second. I just thought of something. Okay. So this is Matthew 24 and 14. All right. Matthew 24 and 13 says, But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved." Right? Because these laws they're making is really gonna what they're doing is cracking down on the men of the Lord, the true prophets. Okay? Because why? We ain't just half stepping with the scriptures. We telling you the whole thing, right? The good and the bad. Okay? And if you don't have an understanding, or if you are westernized, then when you hear the men of the Lord speak, you would think of it as racism or hate speech. All right, or the other word they will say is anti. But that whole thing is confusion. Okay, but it says, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. Because why? Things are gonna get more tough. Things are gonna get more hard. Right? Those trials and tribulations are gonna be more and more unbearable. It says, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations. Right? So now there was a law passed in, or bill being passed in Canada. Now there's a bill in the UK. Right? So now this thing is starting to spread and make headlines throughout the world. Is there going to be more? I believe so. You know, it could be a thing of dying down, and then it might come back up again. Who knows, right? But it being the last days, so things like this is to be expected. It says, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, right? Because why? Because you got Israel is scattered throughout the four corners of the world, so the elect have to be gathered throughout the four corners of the world, have to be woken up, okay? And these nations have to receive their judgment. These nations have to be told, about their upcoming judgment. It says, and then shall the end come. And the end, ultimately, the end is America being destroyed, or Babylon being destroyed by those nuclear missiles. Okay, America, aka Babylon. All right, aka the virgin daughter of Babylon, aka Egypt, spiritual Egypt. All right, being destroyed by missiles, and the Lord delivering His elect. All right, the 144,000 and the men, women, child believers. All right. So, in other words, for these things to happen, prophecies have to come to pass, such as what? Persecution. All right. So now we're in the time, or we're heading into the time of persecution. Where some men and women might have to die, get thrown in jail or prison, and have to even die, for this truth, and get thrown in what else? Concentration camps, all right, or FEMA camps, whatever you call them. So, what I'm gonna do, continue with the scriptures. This is our Wisdom of Solomon 5:1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such that have afflicted him, and made no account of his labors. Right, the righteous man standing in great boldness, and that's talking about now. All right, when all these laws and what do you call it? You have the laws, but then you have draconian laws. All right, when these laws start to come down on us to the point where we can't physically be on the streets, because if you go on the streets, you might get locked up or worse, then we won't be on the streets no more. Okay, but this scripture right now is referring to the times, to what we're doing now, doing these lessons, these sit downs, but then also going out there on the highways and byways. Right? It says, and then shall that righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him. And who's afflicted us? Esau, the so-called white man, along with these nations. And we out there in great boldness because we calling them out. Okay? We exposing them. And this is why these bills are being passed. And made no account of his labors. Let's see. It says, when they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they look for. And that salvation, the strangeness of that salvation is going into those chariots, um, gathering up the elect, all right, from this upcoming destruction away with thermonuclear missiles. And their repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision, and the proverb and the reproach, right? The so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans were starving the elect because you had us we're in slavery and captivity. Even now, we still in captivity. It's just it's no chains on us physically, but we still gotta go to work for this man. We still gotta be on time with our payments, or we get thrown out of our homes, we get locked up. Okay, so we still gotta pay taxes and whatnot. So yeah, we still in captivity to Esau. We're not reaping the benefits. We're making crumbs at the same time, making them millions. So this place is still being built up on the sweat and the blood and tears of you Jakes. Okay, this is yeah, and it's great boldness because we risking our lives, our freedom, to bring this word out. Now this is Romans 13 and 3, straight to the point. It says, "For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil." Who are the rulers? The ones that control the world, which that's Esau. All right, they damn showing so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, right? But it says, "For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil." Now, who are the evil? The ones breaking the laws, statutes, and commandments. All right, because the rulers in this scripture, the rulers will be the ones in rulership. Who's in rulership at this point in time? Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Who's the wicked? Esau, the so-called white man. For rulers are not a terror to good works. The good works, doing the Lord's works, obeying laws, statute, commandments, going out there on the highways and byways, prophesying, keeping the faith. But to the evil, right? Because you're gonna have Jake. See, in time of Jacob's trouble, it's not just gonna be 2/3 um being terrorized, but it's also gonna be the elect. But mostly, really, 2/3 gonna receive most of the punishments. Okay, you're gonna have some men that may fall as part of the elect. That may be a lot. That may be their trial. Okay, but then you're gonna have 2/3 that's gonna really, get the short end of the stick in the time of Jacob's trouble. It says, "Without then not be afraid of the power." You won't have a reason to be afraid of people in rulership because they ain't gonna be coming against us. Be fair, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. It says, "Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same." Okay, so in that time when when 2/3 in the time of Jacob's trouble, when they bring down those laws, draconian laws, and they bring in those troops and soldiers into your neighborhoods, some they might let the elect might just slip through the cracks. In the meanwhile, 2/3 might just get straight judgment, which it is going to be judgment. It says, "For he is a minister of God, of the Most High, to thee of for good work." Shlaki. It says, "For he is the minister of the Most High to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid, for he beareth not the sword in vain." All right. So it says, "For he is the minister of the Most High to thee for good." So in that time, Esau's gonna be good on us. Even now, the scriptures say, "Obey um say to agree with your adversaries. Okay, so that right there. Even doing that, you be following law, statutes, and commandments. Okay. Now, if you don't do that, if you don't agree with your adversary, you won't be hard headed, you won't be an asshole. It might lead to judgment. It says for now you're gonna have Jake in Tom Jacob's trouble. What they're gonna do? They're gonna pick up guns. They're gonna form gangs. They're gonna, and they're gonna try to fight back. Okay, the scriptures say, "Wait ye upon me." Now it says, "For he beareth not the sword in vain." Right, Esau doesn't bear the sword in vain. The sword is his blessing. And trust me, we know through history, Esau knows what to do with the sword. And even now, you see, one thing with Jacob's trouble is the technology. All right, Esau got all types of guns, all types of ways of putting people to death. For he's a minister of good. For he's a minister, it says, for he minister of good, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil. Okay. I forgot to turn off my Wi-Fi, so I hope the audio is not too bad. Oh man, I hope the audio ain't too bad. Salakia. This is First Thessalonians 4:13. But I would not have you to be ignorant, brethren, concerning them which are asleep, that ye sorrow not, even as others which have no hope. Right? They have no hope because they have no understanding. Okay? But do you notice the things that are written before time, written for our knowledge? It says First Thessalonians 4:14. For if we believe that Yahushua died and rose again, even so them also which sleep in Yahushua will the Most High bring with him. It says, for this we say unto you by the word of the Lord, that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of the Lord shall not prevent them which are asleep. Right? When the Lord returns, you're going to have some men of the elect that's alive, but then you're going to have some men that died. It says, for the Lord himself, First Thessalonians 4:16, for the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of the Most High, and the dead in Yahushua from Mashiach shall rise first. The dead shall rise first, meaning the men that died, they're going to come back and they're going to be on those chariots. They're gonna be first. They're gonna be first on those chariots with Yahushua, with those new bodies. It says, then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord. So the things we're gonna suffer on this side, it is what it is. We're gonna suffer it, man. If they want to persecute us, if they want to kill or murder us for the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, for preaching, for waking up the people, okay, for Yahweh Shem Yahweh's sakes, then you know what? It is what it is. The Lord will, we could endure when those times come. Um, right? And we're seeing these things. Those times are approaching, and we're seeing the signs of the times. Okay, I believe this is Second Ezra 16. start at 36. It says, "Behold, the word of the Lord, receive it. Believe not the gods of whom the Lord spake." Right? Because you're gonna have false prophets, false idols. Okay, the God of this world is who? Esau. Okay, so it says, "Behold, the word of the Lord, receive it. Believe not the gods of whom the Lord spake. Behold, the plagues draw nigh, and they're not slack." So you're gonna see these plagues start to come upon this place, which we've seen it now. Okay, which there's gonna be more earthquakes. There's gonna be more wars and more pestilence. All right, the Almighty microchip is at hand, which that's the mark of the beast. It says, "As when a woman with child in the ninth month bringeth forth her sons with with 2 or 3 hours of the birth, great pains compass her womb, which pains, when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment." All right, so we're gonna see them pains. They're gonna at first they're gonna them pains being the different plagues, the the, the different um you know plagues or whatever it may be. All right, like how we saw what happened in 2019, 2020. All right, then we saw what happened 2015. There was wars over there in Iran, right? That we saw 9/11, and everything was mainly strategic by Yahweh Shimi Shai. Okay, some things were red flags or false flags, but ultimately still prophecies. It says, and now things are just getting picking up and getting more and more, hard, more and more difficult. All right, and these trials are going to increase. Okay, but the scriptures say what? To watch and pray. It says, so this is back in 2nd Ezra 16:38. "As when a woman with child in the ninth month bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb, which pains when the child cometh forth, and they slack not a moment." Right, so but especially Jacob's trouble. Okay, that's when these plagues ain't gonna slack not a moment. Okay, it's gonna be straight up hell. "Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. One people hear my word, O my people, hear my word, make ye ready to the battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth." So we won't be out there on the highways and byways prophesied. We're gonna be as pilgrims. You're gonna be moving, seeking shelter. All right, and you're gonna have people that's gonna help us, man. You're gonna have people of the elect that's gonna help us. You're gonna have people of the heathen nations that's gonna help us. So help the Lord put the spirit on to help us. Lord, what I'm part of that. I'm part of the elect. You're gonna have the Lord put the spirit on people to help us. That's just that. Okay, but we're gonna be as pilgrims in those days, man. And those evils is going into Jacob's trouble, going into the plagues, going into the persecutions, going into the uprisings. All right, martial law, race wars, class wars. Okay, invasions, all manner of things. Pestilence. Is that was based mainly the point. Once again, the article I read from the Irish News is called "Government Looks to Stop Hate Preachers from Entering UK." We could look forward for more and more of these articles just like this to occur. And we know what time we're in, man. This is also a time where we're gonna be tested, so we gotta pray for you know, for you know, to be for fortitude, mental fortitude, and to be stable in these times we're heading into. But with that, I want to say all praise, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh, Bashim, Yahweh Shai, Bashir Hakwadash, double honor to the apostle, Bishop Elsria Millstone, and citation to Aki pushing this word, stating honesty and hopeful elect. Shalom.